Wonderful. Good morning, friends, and welcome to the Spiritist Support of Virginia. We're going to start today by reading a message from the book Our Daily Bread, psychographed by the medium Chico Xavier, through the hands, psychographed by Emmanuel through the hands of the medium Chico Xavier. Message number 88, discipline. If you are enduring discipline, God is treating you as his children. For what child is not disciplined by his father? For in Hebrews 12:7. Blessed is the spirit who understands the Lord's discipline and accepts it without resistance. However, few individuals manage to understand and bear discipline. At times, a generous reprimand from the Most High, the symbol of unbridled love, reaches the human arena as a sacred and silent warning. Nevertheless, on most occasions, the incarnate mind defects the salvic prod, immerses itself in the night of rebelliousness, disregards valuable possibilities, and labels as an unbearable misfortune the renewing influence meant to brighten the sad, dark road. When confronted with this regenerative phenomenon, many people opt for a spectacular escape from the difficult situation and defenselessly give in to a slow suicide, abandoning themselves to complete indifference toward their destiny. Those who proceed in such a way cannot be treated as children, since they have isolated themselves and have turned away from the divine providence by erecting dense walls of darkness between their own heart and the Father's blessings. Those who understand the discipline of the All-Merciful readjust themselves in a new and promising circle of life. Once the inner storm is overcome, they reevaluate opportunities for learning, serving, and constructing, and based on the bitter experiences of yesterday, they apply the benefits of the higher life with an eye on tomorrow. Do not forget that evil cannot correct anyone. When the Lord's discipline reaches you on your path, accept it humbly and know that it is a true message from heaven.
Let us all pray now, right? Let us feel our connection with God, the Almighty. Dear Mother, Father God, what a gift to be reunited with you and one another, feeling the divine essence in each one of us. Thank you, God, for sending Master Jesus, our guiding model of love and peace. We want to thank you especially for the opportunity of educating ourselves in renewed thoughts and feelings, and we visualize at this moment the spirit doctors, nurses, and therapists who are here with us. We visualize their presence, blessing each one of us. We feel so loved by you in their energy medicine, permeating our minds and bodies, renewing ourselves, recharging us, revitalizing us. And we hope, dear Lord, that this session is also deeply therapeutic to family members, relatives, into realms. We visualize our homes, our workplaces, our means of transportation, be enveloped in a light of protection, asking for your loving guidance, feeling your merciful protection. We thank you for granting us the permission to begin this educational therapeutic moments with you. And so be it. Okay, friends, last week, using this book, some of our children and youth were applying artificial intelligence to create amazing ways for people to listen to prayers that we find in this book by Kardec. Soon you hear what they produced. Mm-hmm. You think artificial intelligence is not in the Spiritist Center? Oh yeah, it's everywhere. Let's use the robots so we can progress faster. The AI, yeah, artificial intelligence. Yes, they are not our enemies. They're proving to us they can be good friends, right?
Yes.
Right? All right, friends. So now those who want to go to the baby room, the children, Miss Carol, Miss Daisy will be there with you. Okay, enjoy. Can you have her there? Thank you.
Bring your first. Can you bring your first? I'll just leave it there. Okay.
Today we have once a month now we're gonna have a special session for parents, grandparents. It's titled Spiritist Parenting. Why? Chico Xavier, the medium, the Brazilian medium, he used to say that parents need a course to guide their lives in their mission. If I ask you, what is the most important mission on earth? We may say, oh, being the president of a country. Actually, no. It's being a parent. But we're living in a society that doesn't cherish this parenting and doesn't support enough. We're not being dramatic. It's a reality. Especially for mothers. We are pushed to do it all. I'm not going to do the Barbie discourse here. If you watch the movie, you know, the actress says it all. I won't repeat that because it's a beautiful speech and it's a reality, but it's true. We know the pressure on us. We need to gestate, work inside the house, outside the house, and do it all. And yesterday, talking with friends, we were talking about abortion. And we can't forget the many women feel like driven to abortion because their partners are not supportive. Their families are not supportive. Their work environment is not supportive. I can't forget when I became pregnant. I became pregnant, like I got to the University of Maryland as a faculty. I was 40 years old, 40. And they were like, you're pregnant, congratulations. But I had a friend who said, you, Vanessa, you're going to be a mother. Said, I know you only see me as a scientist, as a working woman, but I am a woman. I'm going to be a mother. And you're like, I can't see you like that. That's a journey of discovery for me too. Virginia was born. 3 months later, I'm back to work. Virginia never took a bottle. She refused anybody. I had to breastfeed her for 2 years. Till she said, she woke up, didn't ask for it. But I remember going back to work, our first faculty meeting. There were only men, very respectful. They never said a word. They were very politically correct. But there was one woman older than me, a faculty senior compared to me. I was still junior then. And then she said, how is the baby doing? I said, great. But I made a mistake. I said, she's not taking a bottle. And then she turned to me and said, and is that a problem at all? Well, let her be hungry. She's gonna get it. I was speechless. I could not imagine living Virginia be hungry to the point that she would cry to death till she would take a bottle. That is cruelty. We're talking about neuroscientists, by the way, and a woman. And I felt so sorry for her because I said, man, I cannot imagine, since she was older than me, the pressure she had to do it all. And then talking to the good spirits, they said, go to the spirits book, Vanessa. When they describe, they are actually calling the parents to their rescue. It's not about being spoiled. Babies don't have that reason, and they don't. Because their prefrontal cortex is not mature yet to reason. I'm going to cry just to make my parents upset. Manipulate. No, they can't do it. Because they don't have the brains to reason to that level. So when they cry, it's because they need us. They need something. So today, we're not going to talk much. I'm just going to do an introduction and open for questions from parents of things they would like Spiritism to clarify, because often we don't know what we are doing. For example, we often think my reference is my parents, my grandparents, and we make mistakes because of fear. I don't want to do what they did, or we're afraid of doing different, and then we make mistakes. But we need to learn to take action out of love. So, not my words. Let's go to the book, The Gospel According to Spiritism. A most important chapter, 14. Honor father and mother. Nowadays, it's almost a joke, right? When people say honor father and mother. Because it's like children are becoming the regulators of our homes. If they want something, who are we to say no? If you talk to teachers, we have teachers here. It's very scary. You can barely discipline, right, Rejani? Because in the name of not traumatizing, in the name of allowing them to express themselves, they can do it all. Is that healthy? No. So what is the balance? If we go back, for us who study the Spiritist science, if you go back before Jesus to Moses' time, one of the commandments is honor your father and your mother. So if we don't honor our parents, if our children don't learn to honor parents, how will we do anything else? Dr. Bert Hellinger in Germany, he created a new approach to psychotherapy, family constellation. And he observed that we are like trees. Our roots are our relationships with our parents. But not today. The parents we introjected when we were children. Because today we talk to them, it's all fine. But inside, our inner child is potentially still scared of them, or angry at them, or feeling that they were faulty. And that spoils the roots of our lives to the point that we cannot receive the nourishment from life, leading us to the blossoming of our flowers, fruits, the ones of our trees. So if we want to be healed, we need to go to the roots of ourselves. Our parents are the representation of God on earth. Not that we will agree with them to the point like they say nonsense, we agree. If they are criminals, we agree. No. But we are, one, grateful. And two, we honor them. Honoring is not about working to sustain them materially. If they need it, it's okay. But it's about an emotional, spiritual component. Honoring them, looking at them, says Bert Hellinger, looking at them with a glass full, saying, they gave me everything that I needed. Nothing lacked. Not that we are not realistic, but he said, if we can look at our parents and feel so grateful that nothing lacked, he said our healing begins with our children. We need to teach them that gratitude. No wonder in item 9 of chapter 14, the most beautiful thesis in parenting, written by St. Augustine at Kardec's time in Paris, France, is here, telling ingratitude of children and family ties. Without gratitude, we cannot honor parents, neither us nor our children. So practicing gratitude, never thinking we're above our parents, never thinking that they couldn't give us because we received exactly what we needed. Even their mistakes were instruments for our growth. Even their imperfections became stepping stones for our evolution. And so we should feel and also teach our children. When a child comes and says, but mom, dad did this to me. Say, look, before you reincarnated, you knew who your father and mother were. And you agreed to coming. You knew that you came for a reason. And you came to help and be helped. So think about it. Don't take offense. Don't hold grudges against your parents. It's a lesson for us. And then our healing begins. Because we no longer expect to be loved. We change the game. We shift gears. We learn to love in our turn. Understand them. Appreciate them. And vice versa. So St. Augustine begins by saying this. I'm not going to read it all because it's a very long explanation, but he begins. Ingratitude is one of the most immediate fruits of selfishness. So when our children are not grateful, if we don't help them change that feeling, we are raising selfish individuals. You fix a meal and you're like, I don't like that. I remember what my grandmother used to say. You have to be grateful whatever food is put on your plate. First, because you need to respect the people who are fixing the meal for you. And second, because there are people who have no food at all. But in our Northern Virginia area, we are, we have so many options, right? But we need to practice gratitude, which is the opposite of selfishness. It is always revolting to honest hearts. But the ingratitude of children towards their parents has an even more odious character. It is particularly from this point of view that we will look at ingratitude in order to analyze its causes and effects. From now on, what does St. Augustine says? He talks about the stories of our lives, reincarnation. It doesn't make sense to live only one life. God would not be just to say, yeah, you're born rich, you're born poor, you're born beautiful, you're born ugly, you're born this and that way and the others not, just because I like you more. That doesn't make any sense. What kind of God is that? The real God and the only one is so perfect that he says, you're just beginning another opportunity. So when a baby is born, it's a happy time, but it's a challenging one because it's a new beginning, and we're not born to be wealthy, to be rich. We're born to progress. If money is on the plate, we better be selfless, because if we're selfish, you bet we will ask, oh, God will punish us. We'll say, please, take it away from me next life. Don't let me have much money, because I still don't know how to think of others. And we're not talking about petty giving, $5 to a beggar. We're talking about substantial giving, devoting ourselves to helping others. Here at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville, we have a beautiful group of psychiatrists who changed the course of science. With Dr. Ian Stevenson, and now Dr. Jim Tucker and his team, they had the greatest discovery in science lately. We live many lives. It's scientific. It's not an opinion. It's not a belief. It's a scientific fact. It's proved in many papers. At Cardiac Radio, we still have the interviews you can watch if you go to YouTube channel, Cardiac Radio. The latest interviews with Dr. Jim Tucker. When they researched on children who had the spontaneous memories of previous lives. And then one day, Dr. Stevenson, no longer on earth, he's now discarnated, but when he was living, the leader in this field, he met this girl in India. He researched on people of different countries, different cultures, different socioeconomic status. And this girl in India, she had a precise memory of a previous life. She said, I used to be a man, a warrior in a previous life. She gave name, location, everything. And she said, in this life, I know why I had to come as a girl. Because back then, I didn't respect women. I used them as objects, sexual object. And now some of them, the ones that I harmed, They will be my children. Everybody heard the story. Of course, they believe in it somewhat in India, right? But Dr. Stevenson had a research team. They researched the location, the story, and it was not near her house at all. And they said, it's a fact. Everything matches. They didn't know of this lawyer, which was from a different time, different city. They've never met the family related to this lawyer. She grew up, she got married, had children. Understanding one of the reasons why she needed that experience. She was blessed because she surrendered to the plan of God. But many of us don't. We're called to be a mother or a father, and yet we want to enjoy life pretending motherhood and fatherhood is not going to change a bit. We want to go back to work pretending that our children won't change our lives. It's just a pretend because they change, especially financially. It's real. And we are supposed to devote ourselves to those children. Why? Because those children, now says St. Augustine, are not our children by chance. Who were they? Why are they in our homes? Sometimes they were old friends from previous lives. But many times they are former adversaries. No wonder we look at them when we're estranged. At times, like, I don't like you when you do that. In ways that it's beyond the actual fact. Where does that come from? Emmanuel, the spirit who guided Chico Xavier, wrote a book, Laws of Love. We're studying it on Fridays. And he says, you know that daughter that seems a little hectic and crazy? She was a former companion whom you abused and were cruel with. And you know that son that is rebellious and is, not good in his mind, was a former friend with whom you made a lot of crimes together. Now you need to help him better. You need to re-educate. But you know that spouse that is not well adjusted with you, the unfaithful spouse, someone you taught to be like that. And we're like, did I? It's not far from our minds to visualize how in previous lives we could have done it. Because you remember, there weren't as many rules as there is nowadays. We could do 10,000 things. We could easily get somebody drunk just to steal their money. And now they're the very spouse who has an alcoholic behavior. And is upset with us. Sometimes physically abusive. And we wonder why. But we were the ones who taught them to be a drunkard. Because we needed their money. Does it mean we're going to put up with physical abuse? No. But we're going to understand that we're not victims. St. Augustine shares with us in this very part of the book that we are here and then our children come, and usually they are people whom we have unfinished businesses. we need to help them for our own healing. Not giving them everything, but give them what they need. Often we prefer to spend thousands of dollars in vacations this summer. Maybe twice a year, minimum. Put that money together. Send your children to a decent school. Because our public schools, no matter how hard they try, because I know the teachers, they're hard workers. But we still lack a lot. Take that money from the vacations. Send them to a decent school. And give them the education that they need. We don't want to be mediocre parents. Some people prefer to pay a huge mortgage instead of taking the same money and investing in the education of their children. House, vacation, when we discarnate cars, house, vacation, restaurants. When we discarnate, none of this will lead us to anywhere but the money we spend in education will last to immortality. The knowledge and the experience. To wrap up this introduction so we can open for a conversation and illuminate questions that we may have. St. Augustine says, "O Spiritists, you must understand humanity's grand rule. You must understand that when you produce a body, the soul who incarnates in it has come from the spirit world in order to progress. Know your duties and put all your love leading that soul to God. This is the mission that has been entrusted to you and for which you will receive reward if you faithfully fulfill it." So what is our mission before our child? Is to lead them to progress, is to lead them to more knowledge, noble experiences, and connecting their hearts to God. Without God, who are we? Nothing. Zero. And for a society that is, our American society is founded in Christian foundations. But we are pushing so hard to get rid of God. Thank God in our money, which we can't get rid of. It says, "In God we trust." At least we can't run away from the fact. But if you go to the Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C., there is a beautiful simulation experience there. They are going to make you fly throughout the Washington city to see the facts that even our capital was founded in God-driven thoughts. They will show different parts of the city that are related to Bible statements. The Museum of the Bible, since it's still summertime, is a wonderful experience for our own culture. It talks about history of humanity, especially the history of America, and how we are so connected with God. It's a good experience for our children to have that realization of our true foundation. Beyond words, it's about feelings. So since our mission as parents is to lead our children to God, let us open a conversation here with questions that we may have about our parenting mission. Doubts, because we all have doubts. I do too. And talking about it, we may illuminate ourselves and calibrate ourselves better for this important mission. Shall we, friends? Yes, Anna.
But it's not, I think for me, and that I think a lot of us here might relate, that we left Brazil, our families are there, like, the grandparents are there. Like in my case, my entire family is there, right? So lately I've been questioning myself, right, about raising Maya. And of course, there is this comparison with my childhood around the cousins and everything else, right? Even though when I go back, I see that the reality there is not the same than when I was growing up. So I think my question is, I'm just trying, to understand the larger role of, I think I come from a family of immigrants in general. So I think there is this trend, because both of my families immigrated to Brazil, and then here I am immigrating here. I think now there is this opportunity, and I go to Brazil very often with Maya. I think she has the experience of the family, but sometimes I feel that there's something missing in that connection. And I am not certain, I don't know if there is any perspective to look into this situation from more of a learning perspective, and for a long time I question about going back, and I feel that as I have healed my relationship, especially with my parents and my mom, and I've never been as close as I am right now, it seems like that distance is closer, it's not as far as it used to be. I'm trying to think about what my question is. I think I'm always thinking about the situation, and I don't know if Spiritism has any wisdom around. And I think in the Bible there's a repetition of children that left the home, right? And I think there's so many different reasons why when I was 17, 18, I left the house for the first time, and then when I decided to come here, and then when I decided to stay, and now I think that's the whole world.
Yeah, I understand you. I feel it. We're in the same situation.
Yes, I think a lot of us.
Yes. But make no mistake, our children have exactly what they need. They need that experience of this duality, two cultures, and the depth, the emotional depth of it. They need it. God made no mistake bringing them here and still connected to Brazil. They need it for reasons that are helpful to them and to both countries. Only the future will tell us. And much of it is our experience. We are going through this. Immigrants, people say it's like a curse, a blessing and a curse, right? And it is. In Spiritism, we don't say it's a blessing and a curse. We say an expiation. It's an atonement. We need to go through this conflicts. Why? To heal our relationships with our family members. God is so good that said, you'll heal being far away. Because if you stay together, it's not going to work. So you need to go far away to heal this relationship and atone in these feelings of being close and far away, because it hurts. Sometimes you want to be close, sometimes you don't. But when you want to be close, you're not there. When you want to be far away, you're right there. Right? Like, oh, what have I thought? 2 weeks. I should have done just 1 day. It was so good on the first, second day, and then second week, it's already a torment because we're not healed yet. So we need that experience, and God is so good that says, I'm going to give you a break. You'll be there and here. So much of our anguish is ours, not our children's. If you ask them, they don't care much. They don't miss anything. For them, it's their life. They don't know what we lived with cousins, grandparents, and aunts and uncles. They have no idea. They don't live this life. And for them, it's just natural. So we need to heal, to be at peace, and not be willing for them to experience what we did. Because they were born to experience something completely different. They don't need that experience. Most of the American life is exempt of that experience. Not everybody has that experience here, even when they're born here, and they are not immigrants in this generation. They don't. They have their immediate family. They see parents, grandparents on and off, but they are not surrounded by cousins and aunts and uncles and relatives all the time. Some do have that experience, but it's not the majority. So you can tell that our children who are here now, they don't need that experience. Not that they don't need their grandparents. They do. Not that they don't need to visit their relatives in another country. They do. But that's not the daily bread of their lives. So when we sort it out and we understand that this is us and not them, we're going to be at peace. Always remembering the good spirits who are assigned by God to plan their reincarnation, they planned it precisely in the conditions that they need. If we teach them also that, saying, be grateful for what you have and don't miss what you can't have, they will always be content. And when you're content, you're less frustrated. You're less prone to future anxiety disorders, depression, panic syndrome, because you're not pushed to be wanting what you are not supposed to experience. Makes sense? So always think, Maya knew before she reincarnated she would be in this experience of two cultures. She was prepared for it. She knows how to navigate it and make the most of it. And at the end of the day, as we all know, it's not about quantity, it's quality. We can have a strong connection with our family, even though we may be with them once a year. Whereas we may be with them next door every day and have a terrible relationship, right? So quality. Let's find our hearts, right? Thank you for your question and your comment. You're going to say something, Paula. Am I wrong? No? I thought you were.
No, I was,
You were.
no, I was thinking about, I want to make a comment. When we have this opportunity, I see an opportunity, the difficult child, the difficult husband or mother, I don't know, I'm giving you examples.
Yes.
Oh my God, if we see with the eyes of the Spiritism, it's not a, oh my God, so tortured to have this mother. It's a blessing. Like we were talking this morning, right? Like about the discipline, yeah. That Felipe was saying, oh, sometimes bad things happen in our life. But when we see it ahead, it's like, oh, thank God that this happened. Now I can, and then we see opportunities to work, to get better, to, oh, okay, I have difficulties with this person. Let me work to have a better view, better, yeah.
I'm making your comment. Let's recap the sentence you just mentioned. Philippe read it.
Yeah.
Don't forget that evil cannot correct anyone. When the Lord's discipline reaches you on your path, accept it humbly and know that it is a true message from heaven. So, in those trials, let's say this way, tests, atonements, we are healing ourselves. We just need to calm down and say, God knows better. And as Jesus said once, with God, all things are possible. With God, all things are possible. We don't need it to be anguished, conflicted. This deep surrender to God is very healing for us. Leading from Paul's comment to Emmanuel, back to St. Augustine, parents leading their children to God. If our homes have God as a north, we'll never be lost. We'll never be lost, neither our children will be lost. Right? Anybody else would like to ask a question? We still have, yes, please.
I find it interesting that we always, as parents, we always have conflict in our mind with what's too much and what's not enough. And the aspect that we always want to give our children what we didn't have, yet we don't want to give them too much so that they're spoiled.
Yeah.
So what does Spiritism say about that? You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's always a conflict I think in our minds of what's too far, what's not enough, when have I gone too far, giving them too much, things of that nature. Does that make sense?
Beautiful. Wow, that's such an important comment and question, because there is one way to measure that. There's a thermometer. And Jesus gave us that. The golden rule. Do to others what you'd like to receive. So the other day, I told the story on Friday, but I'll repeat here. I was at Costco. Virginia was seated inside the shopping cart. I know we're not allowed, but we can do so much pushing the cart in the kid, right? So we're there, we go through, and I don't notice that I stopped at some place and she got a plushie, a squishamallow there. I didn't notice. It was huge, but I didn't notice. We were buying things for the center, for the house, and then when we get to the cashier, she presents the huge squishamallow. Mom, every time we come here, I want you to buy this for me. And I said, Virginia, is this your birthday? Not yet. But Mom, I've been a good girl. They know. I said, Virginia, if I give it to you, I'm not a good mom. You know why? Because you don't need this first. Second, it's only $10. But you know, every day when we walk in the streets of Chantilly, believe it or not, we see beggars. This money, it's a big deal for them. Do you think we should spend this money here? Why? Don't you think it's selfishness to think that you need it? Because I've been talking to her constantly about being selfish. Why? Because in Spiritism, if you go to the Blue Book, the Spirit's book, there is a beautiful section at the very end of the book, talks about moral perfection. And it says that the worst imperfection is selfishness. It's when we think we deserve, when we're focused on our interests alone, exclusively. When our children go to a store, and I was there also to buy something, a gift for somebody else. She knew that one of the reasons I went there was for the center, preparing for the picnic, because we needed to buy a few things. And two, we went there to buy something related to somebody's birthday. So I said, we haven't come here because of you. So if every time I go to a supermarket or store, you always think of you, I'm teaching you. Be so self-centered that you enter every place and only think of your needs. You need to step back, enter a place, do something for others, and forget about yourself. It's an experience. I asked her, how often do you see me buying things for me? It's a practice for me. When I was pregnant of Virginia, Mentor Joseph always says, when we're pregnant, we like to buy something here, something there, preparing, like nesting. And he said, every time you buy something for Virginia, buy for some other baby too. I said, that's going to be expensive. I said, well, then balance it out. Don't go wild. Don't go wild. And I followed his rules. That's when we got to know of the birthright that the SSVA helps to date. It's been more than 10 years. Because I said I need to find a place where they focus on babies. So I would buy things for Virginia and for the babies at birthright. For Virginia and the babies of birthright. And he said, you have to do this for the rest of your life. Every time you do something, it's like a match for Virginia, for other babies, for Virginia and other children. Because when we do this for our children too, we're being selfish. Because they are our children. We're spoiling them and us. So if we balance it out, thinking of others and encouraging them to think of others, we will know how to temper. Still, we are selfish. I confess, we are. But at least we are taming this selfishness little by little. Thinking, it could be me at the streets. It could be me as a mother who stops by at a birthright and need diapers because I cannot afford them. It could be me. And it can be me one day, even in another reincarnation. What would I like to receive? The golden rule. So the golden rule is a good measure for us as parents and for our children. When a friend of theirs at school, think about this, they have a birthday. They say, oh, you have to buy a gift for this friend. No, we are going to buy. What do you want to give? Oh, talk to their parent. I said, no. You will ask your friend what they need, what they want. Because when it's your birthday, you want people to be really, really caring to you, right? So when it's somebody else's birthday, you can give anything. So if we practice together, let's say this, practice selflessness with them, we can temper this ancient self-centeredness that is still in us. Does it make sense? And thank you for your question, because we need that. Right? We still have time. Yes, Nate. Yeah, go ahead.
Now, I don't know if it's a question, it's more like just say out loud my fears, but remember the history of Jesus, right? Like when Mary was trying to take Jesus to do something that she was thinking that was right, but right then he said, no, Mom, I need to do this and this and that, right? But that was Jesus. But there is this other case in the opposite direction that I heard here in the center, that was the case of a mother that figured out that her daughter was really good at singing, and the mother pushed the daughter to the singing, and then, like the daughter just ended up committing the same mistakes as the previous wife, right?
Yes.
So knowing those two points, like I'm afraid of getting away of the reincarnation plan of my daughter. So like, how can we not get in a way in the sense of, okay, my daughter has showing this gifting, doing something. Should I push it? Should I invest in that direction, or should I go like, no, it would be better to do this and that? You know, like I'm afraid of like redirect her from the path that she will go if I'm not there, and just lead her to the wrong way. Basically, my question is like going back to Jesus. With Mary and like Mary was like not the person that she was. She could not affect the development of Jesus. Like,
Yes,
well,
of course.
I mean, keep in mind like the
Yes.
But,
But you're right, May. It had to be Mother Mary. It couldn't be another spirit. She was handpicked because the plan was huge. Mother Mary was handpicked. She was not a casual mother. Like us for our children, we were handpicked for our children. We were. We are what they need, whether they like it or not. There is a story together. We are together to heal together. Sometimes their bad tendencies were fostered by us in a previous life. And you're like, man, I don't want to do that again. So what to do? True case, with the permission of the spirits. You know, you have a little girl, always go to ballet classes, right? Always. I love ballet, did ballet, so I said, Virginia's going to ballet. I'm going to take the classes. And she had the ballerina figurine then. I said, oh my gosh, she's going to be a ballerina. Mother of the earth. Not Mother Mary, right? And then I was like, oh, and then step classes and then jazz. And then one day at 8, she said, Mom, I don't really want to do it. I said, oh, how come? No, she has to do it. No, I prayed. Mentor Joseph said, I will show you a little bit of a previous life, okay? He showed it. Said, see where the two of you were together before? She knows she can't go there. Don't push her. She has talent, but she shouldn't go to that direction. I said, okay, let's do jiu-jitsu then. Swimming. Everything else. Okay, if you don't, then I don't. So I understood why I had those feelings. Our past together. When we talk with our guardian angels, we don't need to be mediums because they will inspire us. We will encourage everyone to have a close connection with the spirit mentors, the guardian angels, because God assigned those guardian angels to guide each of our lives. In our families, each person has guardian angels. They are friends of one another. When we parents go to sleep, we can ask. A good practice. Kardec says it in the Spirit's book, part 2. It's good. It's a good read. Chapter 8, Sleep and Dreams. There is a moment, he says, intelligent sleep. Before you go to sleep, pray that your guardian angels take you to the spiritual clinics, to the schools, to prepare you for what's going to happen next in this school year on earth. So every night we pray, please guide me so I can do the right, and naturally this will be good for my children. So when we are aligned, we won't mess up with our children. Mother Mary aced at it because she was deeply surrendered to God. She didn't do it right because of Jesus. She did right because she was already on the right path. So if we want to be aligned parents that don't mess up with our children's lives, we need to rely, like Mother Mary, she relied upon God all the way through. And she had a difficult life. It wasn't easy. She had no privilege. She was going to be the mother of the one and only. She had to flee because Herod wanted to kill her baby. He didn't say Mother Mary's baby. He said the firstborn, but the goal was the one that would potentially dethrone him. From his pride, not from his actual physical material power. He was afraid. He had a command, kill the firstborn. She had to flee all the way to Egypt. Friends, look at the map. From Nazareth to Egypt, no flight. Walking, using a donkey, and the governor of the planet to be incarnated through her in her womb. And we want privileges for us and our children. How dare we? So when we think like Mother Mary, surrender to God, we won't make those mistakes. We'll say, God, when Virginia didn't want that anymore, and I saw her gift, but I said, she doesn't want it. I said, there's a catch here. I prayed. Mentor Joseph said, no wonder. Look at this. Don't push. Because she has a gut feeling she can't go there anymore. We think it's a harmless thing. Even education. We can't push our children to have degrees after degrees after degrees just for the sake of the vanity of having degrees. They need to multiply. You have a degree, you need to multiply that talent. Use it. And it's not only for your good, it's for the general good. To wrap up for us, what is a good direction? Studying the laws of love recently, right? What did the Good Spirit say to Emmanuel? If we want to heal as a person, as a family, work day and night for the construction of the good to all. It's as simple as that. Let's meditate. It was fun. It was very nourishing for us, right? But let us now deepen our connection with our guardian angels, with the good spirits who are here, the spirit doctors, the nurses, the therapists, and prepare ourselves for the passage. Shall we, friends? We're going to dim the lights. Thank you. Let us all recall our best friend, Jesus. He is the friend that is always with us. Let us visualize his beautiful smile, his loving embrace, and allow him to recharge us, to strengthen us, to protect us. Let us visualize our best friend, Jesus. He smiles to us. He embraces us with his loving care, strengthening us, protecting us, guiding us. Let us feel his love and be grateful to him. Let us keep ourselves helping one another in a current of light, sustaining the works of the good spirits, the spirit doctors, nurses, and therapists, feeling their illuminated hands applying onto us the energy medicine that we need for the mind and the bodies. Let us breathe in deeply and slowly absorbing their balancing remedies. Let us feel the presence of Mother Mary with us, her loving heart, her team of loving servants, helping us balance ourselves and our families. Let us also visualize our homes being visited by them and rescuing anyone who needs help in durance. Let us help one another by visualizing flowers of healing in any color that you feel like. Visualizing them radiating light of healing, the perfume of healing. Let us receive these flowers and allow them to help us as remedies for the mind and the bodies. us visualize Jesus before us. Jesus who loves us dearly. He's our shepherd. Let us hear his call and come easily to him. Allowing him to treat us, let us all help one another by visualizing his beautiful healing heart emanating love and peace. So let us all now raise our thoughts in gratitude to God. Thank you, dear Lord of life, for the gift of this new day, for bringing Jesus to us with his loving care and compassion. We visualize with you our harmonious homes, where mutual tolerance shall prevail, where we shall strive to love and respect one another. Thank you for the gift of family, for teaching us to be divine. May everyone who has their names in the book of prayer receive the treatment that they need. May our workplaces be blessed. May our transportation, whether cars or mass transportation, be always protected as we feel this togetherness with you. May our dear planet Earth, our home, feel our gratitude for embracing us time and again. May we love and respect it. With your guidance, may we stay under your protection, and so be it.